Yeah.
And we're back. Back in Nye County, Tom Gibson, Chuck Augustin, and apparently we have a caller. Amy, how are you?
I'm great. Good evening, gentlemen. I was listening about Anthony, and I was wondering if we could make any attempt to be there or write to the parole board, or if the public can get involved with his support when the time comes.
Well, the short answer is yes. They're public hearings, just like court hearings. They are up at the prison usually. They didn't used to be, but they for convenience sake, they have them up at the prison, so you'd have to go there. But anyone can go there that has a interest in it. The simpler thing to do is just write letters to the parole board and say, hey, this guy is a good guy, bad set of circumstances, and if you could let him out, we'd really appreciate it, so on and so on.
Does anybody have the address to the parole board?
I can get it for you.
Yeah, either Chuck or I can get it for you. I mean, you can it's online, just go to Google it under Nevada Parole Board, and you should have all that information. The only thing you're going to need is his name and his inmate number, and that's probably all you'd have to do. I mean, as far as make sure it got to him. Now, did you see my little funny I put you on your Facebook tonight?
No, but I'll go look.
Okay, I can't remember what it was. I just remember it was funny. Or at least I thought it was funny.
Well, maybe I saw it and didn't think it was funny.
It wouldn't be the first
I'll go
time.
and check it out. All right, well, I'll let somebody else call in. I did ask Dwight Lilly to call. I don't know if he's able to get in, but anyway, we'll wait and see. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
I'll be watching.
All right, see you later.
Okay, thanks, Amy.
Good night.
Okay, we're going to go into now our talk about the Pahrump payroll for 2016. This is the town of Pahrump, separate from the Clark County budget. And no, I think we have, don't we have some kind of animation of, there he is. I know it's the third time we've showed it, but I love it.
That was actually Pam Webster when she was a child, getting practice.
Okay. First of all, when you go on to the transparentnevada.com website, you simply go to Pahrump instead of Nye County if you want to look at these payrolls. And naturally, 2016 was the last full year. So that's why I'm using that one. It is pretty amazing. There's been much discussion on the fire department, which also is the ambulance service, and talk about, do we need to have a public or private one? Let me go through some of the payrolls. Now, this is total pay and benefits for the top of people with the fire department, firefighters / paramedics or officers. Okay, the top earner was $247,000. Next down, $202,000, $200,000, $166,000 twice, $151,000, $143,500. 141, 137, 132, 131, 127, 127, and it goes on and on. The average median pay for the firefighters is $130,000. Now, that's the mean one.
I got in the wrong line of work.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I'm not trying to say these guys are lousy, they're criminals, or any of this stuff. If I was a firefighter, you better believe I'd accept my paycheck. The problem is the system. And we're going to talk a lot more about that later in the show.
And unions. It's the union.
Sure.
The unions are what ties the hands of the. Well, I know, and they're. In some situations, there's a little quid pro quo going on where the union says, I want to make millionaires out of every fireman in this county, and the county officials say, well, no, that's not fair. What are you going to do for us?
Right. Now, what to me is dramatic is not only the amount of money these guys are receiving across the board, to me, virtually every employee in Nye County or Pahrump is getting an enormous salary, especially when you compare it to the average person. The average individual is making around $22,000 in Nye County. And you look at these salaries, $247,000. Now, Noah, if we can show that next chart. Okay, this is the total pay between Nye County and Pahrump for salaries. These aren't buildings, roads, or anything else. These are purely salaries. And again, the regular pay is their paycheck. The total compensation is overtime and things like that. But it's still money that we are paying. So for 2016, the total was $36,600,000.
That's not that much, is it?
Yeah, right. And especially when you look at what we could do with that money. Now, I'm not saying we should or could eliminate all of government, although I would love it. I think we can certainly decrease it tremendously.
Well, yeah, obviously. And the thing is when you find out how much you can actually cut these people back and still function? When there are hard times and the money's not there, and then they start cutting people out, and then all of a sudden they get down to the bare bones, and things still function, things still move on, and then all of a sudden everyone wants to be fat, dumb, and happy, and they start saying, "Oh, well, gee, I need someone to help me with in this project." Oh, then they run off, and then they get the county to approve it, and then I guess the county would still do it for the town, and then they get a little assistant,
Sure.
And then that assistant needs an assistant, and the assistant needs an assistant, and the next thing you know, you've got all these people that are working and existing to keep the organization going, and not for what its original function was: fight fires, to whatever the buildings and grounds, whatnot.
Right, and when these pay agreements are negotiated, it's done within government and unions.
Correct.
It's never the citizens contributing and saying, "Wait a minute, this is my money we're talking about."
Absolutely, and see, that's where people, the DA, right? I'm not going to. This is not meant as a criticism of Angela Bello. It is meant as it's a criticism of the system, the way it works. Angela is the person who negotiates on behalf of the county with the unions. So when the cops decide to extract and extort money from the public. Mm-hmm. It's the DA who signs the agreement saying, yeah, go ahead and keep stealing from them. When the fire department, same thing, so on and so on. So it falls on the district attorney she's actually managing your money for you. And if you don't want your money just thrown to people who aren't appreciative of the money they get, the huge paychecks, then there's a problem. So people need to start telling their DA, hey, and you have to get to her early because these are done on a yearly annual basis. So Angela will be meeting with, say, the head of the police union, and she's got to, and she has to either dig her heels in and say, this is not happening anymore. I'm a steward of the money of our citizens. And our taxpayers don't want to pay you more money than most lawyers and doctors right out of law school make. And then these cops have to say, oh, no, I'm worth it because I work 4 days a week.
Yeah. Gary, we got you on the line.
Okay. Why don't they put on the ballot, okay? Put on the ballot on the next election, if it can be done, to put a volunteer fire department on, which is very good. Now, they would get their insurances paid, okay, loss of limb or life and stuff like that, like a regular volunteer fire department. Now, what's the excuse to have that?
Excuse to have it or not have it?
Not have it.
Yeah, you got me. If we can get a functioning, efficient fire department, and the thing Pahrump has got going for it is the fires here are going to be house fires in small buildings. There's not a lot of huge buildings where you have to worry about ladders and like umpteen trucks involved, fire trucks involved in the matter. Most of our fire department issues are like car accidents and choking, and they're more paramedic issues than they are fire issues. I mean, fires happen, yes, but they don't happen very often. So what are these people doing? They're sitting around at these firehouses collecting all kinds of money for nothing. Okay, I mean, I appreciate that they're there when we need them, but at the same time, so would a volunteer there. So Gary, I'm putting it on you. You need to start a petition and get as many people as you can to sign it, and we'll get the ball rolling on instituting a fair and cheaper system, and it might take a year or two to get it in effect, but it could happen.
Well, look, don't put it on my shoulders.
You brought it up.
I'm not a politician.
Too late.
I'm not a politician, okay? That's
Okay.
number one. Number two, all they have to do, say certain people, you get about 20 people, you go around for a complete year in the township and get something signed to go on the ballot. That's what it amounts to. You get 20 to 30 people and get it on the ballot. And now, all the other cities do it, from New Jersey to Virginia, go all the way down to Florida, end of it, other than the big cities, okay? But as far as rural areas go, volunteer, and it can be done. Okay, I'll hear your comment.
Okay, I'm all for it, Gary. I agree 100%. Donna Cox, by the way, has brought this up several times at the commissioners' meeting. Dwight Lilly, Amy, and many other people have also brought it up. The question of can we privatize or basically get rid of these huge salaries?
Well, coming full circle, I have personal experience with some of the way this dirty money is spent. Years ago, I was a defense attorney for Peter Lekopoulos, who was charged with political corruption and bribery. And at that trial, it came out. I had Lorraine Murray on the stand, and Lorraine was a town board member at the time. And Lorraine had worked a deal out with Peter that if she would vote for and push for a veterans memorial museum and made Peter's wife the curator, he in turn would pay for, or would agree to a 1% sales tax that would go to the fire department and the sheriff's office. Well, she tried to get the thing through. It failed, so Peter said, okay, then I'm not going to vote for the sales tax because the deal went through. Well, he got prosecuted for this deal, but she didn't. Okay, and she was more guilty than he was, and even the jurors even said to me, "Well, gee, yeah, she is more guilty than him, but she wasn't charged." So anyway, we'll have to come back.